Well, we are back. I was getting caught up with this stuff, and then I fell off for probably about a month now. So, frustrating. It's just not fast. This doesn't go fast doing this stuff. So, week 36. Starting off on a Sunday. Lots of throws. Lots and lots of throws in this video. So, 17-minute long video. Very long one. Lots of throws. So, if you're into the throw stuff, you get a treat. And I'll talk about some stuff and kind of where things are and how things are going and where they're trending. So, started with some hammer winds, and I cut out some of those, and I probably should cut out some of this other stuff because it's just reps on reps on reps. We're in mid-September, and September 8th is this day, and I've had a complete 2-month break. So all of August and all of September off from competing, and then have 3 games back to back to back in October, first 3 weekends of October. So a little bit of mentality thing. It was tough to kind of train really hard, honestly. I thought, man, I'm going to have this 8 weeks off. I'm going to get so much better in 8 weeks and then come back in and just be killing it in October. I'm in October recording the voiceover and editing this video up, and it didn't go that way, and kind of we'll talk about it. And I talked about it in the last video I posted of this stuff, and that is a lot of the practices were not going great. My sleep has definitely been one of the main factors, and it just makes things tough. You're not recovering. You're drained coming into trying to throw really hard, and for whatever reason, I'm just not strong right now. Not strong, and it's showing in my throws. I can tell in my weight over bar. The 56 feels like 1,000,000 pounds trying to throw weight over bar. And so with that, my timing's off. Now, what I decided to do through August, September, and I was going to do it for like about 6 months, and that was focus on the deadlift and kind of negate squatting altogether. I think I've run into a problem, and it is my legs have gotten weak without that load. I've been doing other lower body things, but I guess it's just not heavy enough and not enough load. And I was talking to somebody today. I feel like it's been the past 2 years of some pretty rough injuries that are not major. The nerve stuff in my quad's pretty major, but like I haven't torn an ACL or torn a bicep. No surgery type of stuff. But it's always something. Like I've had a groin issue all year long, and that was definitely holding things back and having to adjust around that. So on this Sunday, you see a lot of reps on the WOB, and then I went right into throwing the short chain heavyweight. And I've been alternating pretty much sessions of short chain and long chain. And I got the question recently is why the short chain? And what it is you can stay connected to the weight, and it moves a little faster because it's a little shorter radius. The chain obviously being shorter, the orbit's smaller. So you have to move faster. Your body does, and you have to stay connected. And as of late, I've had a lot of problems, even with the hook grip, of the weight sticking in the strap and sticking to my thumb, and who knows? I don't know. It's humidity, yada, yada. And this morning it was beautiful weather, and I was sweating my butt off. So I actually threw the 49 as well. And I think I threw some of the 49 with WOB. I've been mixing some of that into just trying to get myself to pull fast. And so pretty solid Sunday, in terms of volume. Lots of throwing volume. Nothing to direly write home about in terms of position and or distance that I can remember. So, but some of this stuff's looking pretty solid. So, real quick, before I throw the white weight, about managing expectations. I can't believe how much I'm sweating. It is like perfect out, like just beautiful out today. And I'm pretty drenched still. Working hard, I guess. The last couple practices haven't been amazing for me. Specifically, the weights, it's been sticking in the strap that I throw with. About to throw the lightweight without it, just tacky up a little bit. But managing expectations, like I'm getting to the point of the season where I start measuring more of my best throws, trying to put some gas on like a higher percentage of the throws. So it's like I'm throwing for PRs at this point in practice. I don't always measure every practice. I don't measure every throw. I just kind of maybe pull a tape out and get a general idea of what I'm throwing because I care more about like what it feels like. And obviously distance matters, but I don't need to go 100% on the gas every practice. Today was one of those practices. I'm getting towards
peak or championship part of the season typically is around September for a lot of people. A lot of the big games happen. Pleasanton just happened. And for amateurs, you had Amateur Worlds in Minnesota, you had ECCs, you have coming up Celtic Classic, you have and then the fall games, you tend to have the whole year preparing for kind of your fall games. Everybody tends to throw a little bit better if they're holding on and they're not injured or beat up. And so I always try to peak a little bit more towards this part of the season, throwing a higher intensity and a little bit less volume in throws. And they didn't feel great today. They didn't go amazing, but I almost hit the distances I set out with the 56 and 49 short chains. I hit the 49 that I was going for, and I was just shy on the 56. So at first I was a little bummered before I pulled the tape, and then I was like, you know what? Yeah, it didn't feel good, but at least the distances were pretty decent for me personally. So still room to grow, still room to improve. Let's throw lightweight.
So kind of fun to have that little bit of a recap in there, excerpt in my head. And now, one thing that people have known me to do and be good at is, because I'm not the biggest or longest, is I tend to be pretty fast. Now, if you want to watch fast, if you ever have a chance to watch the Burchetts throw, they move fast. Now, I feel like I'm nowhere close to that speed, but I do try to be fast. I kind of have to be. And these are getting there, but it's still, if it's me analyzing myself and watching the footage, I'm just not quite there. And at this point, I don't know if it's going to get there this year. So I'm I don't want to write it off. We're going to keep trying. But something's off. Something's off in my training. It's just not, the plan I put together didn't go amazing. So finished that day with some block power snatches, taking a little load off the low back. On Monday, it was kind of an off day, just hit some hammer winds. And then we're back on Tuesday for another throwing session on top of lifting on top of that. So once again, pretty much every day that I'm starting the WOB or the weights for distance, I'm starting with WOB. And here I'm watching this week. I went to trying to do 2 warm-up swings. A lot of times I do just one, and it's one of those like a little subtle change, and I don't know if it really went any better. Honestly, I can tell you it didn't really go any better. With throwing weight over bar, you kind of just have to find the rhythm that works best for you, whether it's out to the side and this, that, and the other. It's been a couple of years now that I quit going outside my legs with a warm-up swing. There was one day I tweaked my back doing that, and so I've quit doing that since then. So I think, obviously, looking at how there wasn't that many videos, we cut the volume down on this day, and here I have the long chain 56 out compared to Monday was a short chain. So like I said, I've been kind of alternating them. But there's one thing, and I know I kind of mentioned it the previous week, is I've tried to work on my cast a little bit. That looked like good speed there, honestly. I've tried to work on my cast, and I'm winding up and getting off balance. So more cast and drops could help. And that's we ended up with some, once again, sticking in the strap. I can tell myself kind of jumping around a little frustrated there, that things were feeling good, and if they hang up, man, it sucks, because you can throw 36 feet for me in practice, and if it hangs in the strap, it could have gone 38, 39 feet, for example. So I don't think I might have hit 30. Oh, there you go. That was a bad one. Moved the WOB tower finally in after that one. But heavyweight's starting to feel comfortable, honestly, which is weird to say. Kind of feeling the things that I've wanted to feel. Feeling some acceleration. I still feel like there's still a little bit more there on it. Just got to get my legs under me. And honestly, I think that's part of it, is just not feeling strong. If my legs felt really strong. So I swung and I missed on the training plan this year. And we're just trying to put it all together here towards the end of the season. So strength and speed definitely not there. So back to the drawing board and try to analyze what I did this year, things I could do differently, as well as look at what I've done in the past and say, hey, what was the common denominator of what was working and what doesn't. So that's why this year more than ever I've actually kept the most detailed training log of every day of what I've done. That one I got very high and vertical on, threw that one way up in the air, but kept more detail than I ever have before. So those are some things that I'll see. I can obviously look back on and see what I feel like was working, what wasn't. And obviously, no matter what happens, it has to translate into throws. That looked like it had some speed on it. And we went inside, played with the Captain's Crush. It might have been earlier. So this day also had heavy deadlifts. So today was basically a 1RM pull against bands. A little bit smaller jumps today since the prior week I got kind of screwed, or 2 weeks prior. Got a little messed up and jumped too much and took too much time, and it slowed me down. So did end up, here's 190 kilos, 420 plus bands. The bands, who knows how much it is at the top. I just call it maybe 100 pounds. So I work up to, eventually I start jumping up here, about 10 pounds a set, or 5 kilos each shot, or 5 kilos total each set. Work up from 190 up to 210 kilos. Probably some of the most grind I've had in deadlifts in quite some time. Did realize if you just pull fast against the bands, it goes better. So some of these went better than others, but just that was a better rep. Still, just once again, not feeling strong in my deadlift, and I don't know if it's dealing with different injury stuff or just not doing it much, not really straining. I mean, these are some strain, but they're really not too bad. They still move pretty solid. Quite a minute since really practicing open stone or shot put. Had the ball bust open, the little plug come out. JB Weld didn't hold it, but now I got it siliconed in there, so we'll see if that holds. Probably won't. Oh, back to some more throwing at work. Ended up throwing some shot put, just some stand throws here to warm up, then jump to the fulls. This is another one without, the competition on the horizon. I actually dropped off the frequency of, and I've suffered from it. So I've got to find different ways to keep myself honest in terms of training and throwing the throws I need to throw. And these, I got to work on continuing to rotate at the front and throwing it more center to the left instead of opening too early and off to the right with a lot of throws. And then I got to get rid of this habit of fouling. And I think it's probably just from trying to watch them, boom, stepping over. There is a crack there. But this is a Wednesday at work, or Thursday at work, I think, one of the two. Just getting shot put in, got some bench in, nothing crazy in terms of bench, but some maybe light upper body shoulder stuff, nothing crazy there. But another day of throwing at the firehouse, and this little shot put ball has done me well. That plug does not hold up well. I've got to figure out a way to keep that thing in there and solid. But another thought is maybe next year going to a full spin, maybe trying to teach myself that again, or maybe trying to work with some shot putters or somebody that's done that before, see if I can get a little bit more out of my open stone. It just, you're always striving for more, or just hit more drills. Worked some stand throws with this shot put, the 16 pound instead of the heavy 25 pound med ball that I can't really tuck, honestly. So just work some stand throws to finish off this little throw-in session here. Just something different to get after. I don't do a lot of just pure stands for max effort, max distance here with the 16. So just push hard. And then every time I've done these, if you've watched them this whole video, it's been a month now since I strained that oblique, and now just getting into doing hammer winds. And so just working both directions, somewhere between like 7 and 10 winds each direction. Nothing crazy, but just trying to loosen up. The next day was an off day, and now we're back at the gym. This is, I think, the Saturday. Back to, once again, starting off with WOB. Threw a couple different camera angles in here, trying to see if I feel anything different. And I'm sorry I didn't trim this video for whatever reason. Stupid. Oh, and I mean, it's up there. It knocks the bar out of the way. I kind of count it as a make half the time, as long as it's legitimately close. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I make myself go all the way over it. I don't remember what happened on this day. Still, obviously, weak. Still, my timing's off where I'm leaving them out front. And I've tried changing my setup. Now, this is some hammer winds with a short 22-pound hammer. So just trying to build some kind of familiarity again without hurting that oblique. I have nowhere to throw the hammer anymore. I started construction on the field I was working on, but we'll figure it out. We'll hopefully find someplace else to throw. Another one I've been throwing a lot more of is actual Braemar, and that's with this stone. And the more I throw the stone, the more it tucks in pretty nice, to be honest. So might have to drag it to a games or something and let some people throw it. Now, got some feedback from somebody, maybe I think the week after this, on some things to work on. I am not that good at this event. So take what I do with a grain of salt on that event. It's my worst one. So yeah. And then now here we are back with the short chain heavyweight. Like I said in this video, tons of throwing footage, not as much lifting footage. So this is what a real week looks like though, especially when you're trying to really focus on throwing. Focus on being a thrower first. That's one of the things that I've really tried to battle with myself, is making myself do my throw practice before my lifting. And on a lot of those days, there's a really good reason why I do that, because after lifting, I'm pretty spent. So I remember this day after seeing that reaction. A frustrating day, but a pretty solid day. So through the short chain 56 and the short chain 49, and I'll share the distances. I went 34 and 40 with those two respectively, which is honestly pretty solid for myself. They're not going to go as far as the long chain or the regular length implement. It's a shorter orbit. And then this lightweight went pretty solid too on the day. So maybe that's trending up, especially trending up on the week. I think every throw in the lightweight on this day was between 70 and 73. So even your first throws, your warm-up throws go well, because I do kind of build. I kind of try to build effort a little bit. The first one or two is kind of easy, and then the next 3, 4, I try to add a little more oomph each time. So I know I've got to work on a little more sprint speed in my lightweight, really in both weights. I've got to be able to accelerate and then keep accelerating on the finish. I am catching a little bit of a slowdown there as I'm going to land, so having to keep pushing into the finish. And some of these went pretty well. And now we're going to finish off the lift. This might be the next day. We're pretty close to the end of this video, honestly. It's a very long video this time. I'm sorry about it. Hope you guys enjoy this long a video, especially listening to me talk, and honestly a pretty monotone voice. But different variations of box jumps, weighted box jumps. I feel like these have helped my weight over bar in the past, but maybe not this year. And then I have been absolutely loving these GHD sit-ups, reaching some extension, especially rotating side to side now. It's kind of giving me a little hammer feel. And I've tried going a little heavier. This is also sped up. Here it is with 10 kilos. Pushed up a little heavier since then, but I actually like the lighter weight a little better. I feel like I could focus on the stretch more, so there's kind of a give and take to that. But varying my jumps, still jumping. I probably should jump more than I am. And then we went into some cluster power cleans. So obviously I'm trimming these here, and you can see every lift, looking over and looking at that peak power number you can see on the top of the screen, trying to push that. And this is the last one. Deadlifts on the day with chains, so speed deadlifts. I only include 2 reps. So that's the end of this video. Thanks, guys, for staying here, and see you next time.